Hello, my friend. Welcome back. It's so good to have you here with us today. I'm Ben.
And I'm Crystal. We're so happy you're here right now in this moment. Whether you're at home, on a walk, cooking, or just relaxing, thank you for choosing to spend this time with us.
You know, Crystal, I've been thinking about something lately. Something that I think many of our listeners feel too.
What is it, Ben?
It's about confidence. Specifically, confidence when speaking English. Because I know so many people who understand English well. They can read, they can listen, but when it's time to speak, they freeze.
Oh, I understand that feeling so well. It's like all the words you know suddenly disappear. Your mind goes blank, your heart starts beating fast.
Exactly. And today, we want to talk about this. We want to talk about how to speak English with calm confidence. Not perfect English, not fancy English, just calm, confident English.
Because here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect to be confident. You just need to be present. You just need to be yourself.
Present and yourself. I love that, Crystal. And that's what today's episode is all about. We're going to share stories, ideas, and simple ways to help you feel more confident when you speak.
And we're going to do it slowly, gently, because confidence isn't something you force. Confidence is something you build, one small step at a time.
One small step at a time. That's beautiful. So if you're ready, let's begin.
Ben, can I share a story with you? A story from my own life?
Of course, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so a few years ago, I was invited to a party. It was an international party, people from many different countries. And I was so excited because I wanted to practice my English.
That sounds wonderful.
It was wonderful, at first. But when I arrived, I suddenly felt so nervous. Everyone was speaking English so fast. They were laughing, they were telling jokes, and I just stood there, quiet, holding my glass of water.
What were you thinking in that moment?
I was thinking, my English isn't good enough. If I speak, they'll laugh at me. They'll notice my mistakes. So I didn't speak. I just listened, and I felt so small.
That must have been really hard.
It was. But then something happened. A woman came up to me. She smiled and said, "Hi, I'm Maria. Where are you from?" And I answered, very simply. I said, "I'm from Taiwan. Nice to meet you."
And what happened?
She smiled even bigger, and she said, "Oh, wonderful. I've always wanted to visit Taiwan. Tell me about it." And suddenly we were talking, just talking. She didn't care about my grammar. She didn't care about my accent. She just wanted to connect.
That's so beautiful, Crystal.
It was. And that night changed how I think about speaking English, because I realized people don't care if you're perfect. They care if you're real. They care if you're trying.
That's such an important lesson. People care about connection, not perfection.
Exactly. And if you're listening right now, I want you to remember this. Your English doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. It just needs to be you.
You know, Crystal, your story reminds me of something I experienced too. When I was younger, I was learning Spanish, and I was so afraid to speak.
Really? You seem so confident now.
Now, yes, but back then, no. I was terrified. I studied Spanish for 2 years. I knew so many words, I knew the grammar, but when someone spoke to me in Spanish, I couldn't answer.
Why not?
Because I was afraid of making mistakes. I thought, if I say something wrong, people will think I'm stupid, so I stayed quiet. And you know what? Staying quiet felt worse than making mistakes.
That's so true. Silence feels safe, but it also feels lonely.
Yes, it feels lonely. So one day, I decided to do something different. I went to a Spanish cafe. I ordered my coffee in Spanish, and I made so many mistakes.
What happened?
The barista smiled. He corrected me gently, and then he said, "Your Spanish is good. Keep practicing." And that was it. No judgment, no laughter, just kindness.
That's beautiful, Ben.
It was. And that night changed how I think about speaking English. Because I realized people don't care if you're perfect. They care if you're real. They care if you're trying.
That's such an important lesson. People care about connection, not perfection.
Exactly. And if you're listening right now, I want you to remember this. Your English doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. It just needs to be you.
Crystal, I want to talk about something practical now. How can someone feel more confident when speaking English? What are some simple ways?
Great question, Ben. Let me share 3 simple ideas. 3 things that really helped me.
I'm ready to listen. Okay, the first one is start small. You don't need to have long conversations right away. Start with small sentences. Start with simple phrases.
Can you give an example?
Sure, let's say you're at a coffee shop. You don't need to say, "Excuse me, would it be possible for me to have a large cappuccino with oat milk, please?" That's too complicated when you're nervous.
So what should you say?
Just say, "1 cappuccino, please." That's it. Simple, clear, and it works.
I love that. Because when you start small, you feel successful. And when you feel successful, you want to speak more.
Exactly. Success builds confidence. So start with small wins. Say hello, say thank you, say how are you. These small phrases are powerful.
They really are. And you know what's interesting? Native speakers use simple phrases too. We don't always speak in complicated sentences.
That's so true. Sometimes we think we need to sound fancy, but real English, everyday English, is simple.
Simple is beautiful. Simple is confident.
Okay, Ben, here's the second idea. Practice speaking to yourself.
To yourself.
Yes, I know it sounds strange, but it really works. When you're alone, talk to yourself in English. Talk about your day, talk about what you're doing.
Can you give an example?
Sure, let's say you're making breakfast. You can say out loud, "I'm making eggs. I'm putting the eggs in the pan. Now I'm adding salt. This smells good."
Oh, I love this. Because when you practice alone, there's no pressure. Nobody's listening, nobody's judging.
Exactly. You can make mistakes freely. You can experiment with words. You can practice your pronunciation.
And when you practice alone, your brain gets used to speaking English. So when you speak to real people, it feels more natural.
Yes, it's like training for a sport. You practice at home so that when it's game time, you're ready.
That's a perfect metaphor. Speaking is like a sport. The more you practice, the better you get.
And here's a tip. If speaking to yourself feels too strange, you can narrate your life. Narrate means to tell the story of what's happening. So as you walk, as you cook, as you clean, just describe it in English.
I love that. It makes practice fun. It makes practice part of your daily life. All right, Crystal, what's the third idea?
The third idea is focus on your message, not your grammar.
Ooh, this is important.
It is, because so many English learners are afraid to speak because they're thinking about grammar. They're thinking, is this present perfect or past simple? Should I use have or has?
And while they're thinking about grammar, they forget to communicate.
Exactly. They forget why they're speaking. They forget the message.
So what should they do instead?
Think about what you want to say. Think about the meaning. Think about the idea. And then say it. Even if the grammar isn't perfect, people will understand.
That's so true. Communication is about understanding, not about perfection.
Yes, let me give you an example. If you say, "Yesterday I go to the park," that's not perfect grammar. The correct way is, "Yesterday I went to the park."
Right.
But if you say, "Yesterday I go to the park," people still understand you. They know what you mean. The communication works.
And that's what matters. That's what speaking is really about.
Exactly. So if you're nervous about grammar, just remember your message is more important than perfect sentences. Say what you want to say. People will understand, and they'll appreciate your effort.
Ben, I want to talk about something that I think stops many people from speaking confidently.
What is it?
It's comparison. Comparing yourself to other people.
Oh, this is so important to talk about.
It is, because I think many English learners look at other people and think their English is so much better than mine. They speak so fluently. I'll never be like them.
And that comparison kills confidence.
It does, because when you compare yourself to others, you forget your own progress. You forget how far you've come.
That's so true, Ben. And here's something I want everyone to know. Everyone's English journey is different. Some people learn fast, some people learn slow. Some people have more time to practice, some people have less time.
And none of that matters. What matters is your own journey, your own progress.
So instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Ask yourself, did I learn something new today? Did I speak a little more today? Did I understand a little better today?
Those are the questions that matter.
They are, because when you focus on your own progress, you feel proud, you feel motivated, and that creates confidence.
I love that, Crystal. Confidence comes from recognizing your own growth, not from comparing yourself to others.
Exactly. So if you're listening right now, please stop comparing. Stop looking at other people's English. Look at your own. Celebrate your own progress. You're doing better than you think.
You know, Crystal, I want to share something about fear, because I think fear is the biggest block to speaking confidently.
Tell me more.
Okay, so when people are afraid to speak English, what are they really afraid of?
I think they're afraid of judgment, afraid that people will laugh at them, afraid that people will think they're not smart.
Yes, and that fear is real. It's a real feeling. But here's what I've learned. Most of that fear is in our heads.
What do you mean?
I mean, we imagine the worst. We imagine people laughing at us. We imagine people judging us. But in reality, most people are kind. Most people are supportive.
That's so true, Ben. When I speak English and make a mistake,